Iridium, and we're back for All Killer, No Filler, Total Frustration. I've got Dominic and Jam with me. How you doing, guys?
All right, mate. Good to see you all.
Hello.
Cool. So we're up to 1990. Wow. The 80s are gone, and we're up to 90. So it's still a good year. Still a very good year. I mean, I wasn't really sure where mine would go, but it's pretty good. I've got to admit.
Oh yeah, you weren't sure, were you? You were a bit like, don't know.
I mean, look, I must admit it's not up to the quality that I enjoyed in the 80s, but it's, you know, it's still very, very good, and lots of releases, lots of different types of music.
Definitely.
And if anyone doesn't know the rules, obviously I think they do, but if anyone doesn't know the rules, All Killer, No Filler, Total Frustration. There's a couple of rules that our sick friend Jam put in at the beginning. One was that we can't repeat the albums that we can't repeat the albums that the tracks come off of. So we've got our own 12 tracks to talk about today. And also it has to match the track listing of the original release. So we're still at 12 tracks. Like I said, 1990 CDs are here, but still not everyone's producing shitloads of tracks like they did a little bit later. So we're going for 12. We will decide, Jam will actually decide that mainly as we go on and on through the years. And like I said, we'll probably be up to 3 tracks come 1996 or something. But for me, anyway, I have my own game to play. Anyway, so 1990. So I believe Jam's first.
Good job, Lee.
Come on.
Get in.
If anyone's watching for the first time, I can never remember who goes first. Yeah, I know it's not me, because the only time I did go first, I fucked it right up. So Jam
and also, I'm American, so it's funny when I do comedy British accents. That's my thing as well. So.
Yes.
Fucking get it.
we weren't saying that. We weren't saying that last night, but there you go.
No.
Okay, 1990. I've got my Sports Direct mug.
Oh, you getting paid for that?
Fucking size of it, though.
Plus, you're such a sports fanatic, Lee. I mean,
sports and music don't go well together usually, do they? But you know, it's just one of those things.
I think we've had an England shirt on this morning. Had it gone better? But,
Ask Iron Maiden about it. Yeah.
Yeah, Maiden. Yeah, they're a bit different. But okay.
Anyway,
1990, interesting one. So we're going to go Jam first with his track one of that year.
Track one, okay, from a very highly respected album, Megadeth.
Yeah,
arguably their best album they've ever done. Not, it's up there with mine, but the fans love this album. And probably one of the greatest thrash metal songs ever written, Holy Wars, The Punishment Due, opening track of the album. It's an epic song. It's say epic. It's only about 6.5 minutes, so it's not as epic as some songs are. But what a great opening track. This predated the Gulf War, so he's talking about religious wars that was due to come soon. You know, this is 1990, obviously. And what a great song. I mean, there's no real chorus to it necessarily, but it's just a great song. It's slightly progressive. It changes throughout. It's got a bit of a sitar in the middle of it. I believe it's a sitar. Exactly. Great lyrics. Dave Mustaine, great songwriter. Megadeth, great band. And if you don't know the song, where have you been for 40 years? You know,
you tell them
30 years. 30 years. Yeah. Great song.
It is an amazing song.
It is absolutely.
Song.
Stone cold classic, that is.
Oh yeah. Okay. Right. Good
they
one, mate.
killed my wife and my baby.
Exactly. Great song.
I love it when Dom sings. It's brilliant.
Thank you, Lee.
No worries, mate. Okay.
Okay. My turn.
Have you got something as good as that?
Oh, I do. Well, it's a bit different, and I'm thinking you might have something from this record as well, Lee. But my number one is "Wicked Sensation" by Lynch Mob. Terrific album. Could have picked, there's quite a few great songs on there, but this is such an opener. Got to give in, you got to put it out, just love that. Up and down and in and out, so many little great things, so I love that song, and I saw it and I thought, I gotta give them props for that one. So there you go. Lynch Mob.
Yeah, a proper sex song, that one, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's brilliant.
You got
I
it.
mean, it'd be a good fucking pole dancing one. I think that song would be fucking
Oh
brilliant.
yeah,
right?
absolutely, yeah. Mhm.
No, that's an amazing song.
Not that I've never seen that in person or anything, but
No, exactly. So yeah, well, brilliant tracks from both of you guys. I'm choosing a different one. I'm gonna choose a different one. This might surprise you a little bit.
Okay.
Because this is the sort of band I don't usually choose, but you guys do. But it's probably one of the best metal songs ever recorded, and it's from Judas Priest.
Ah, right, yeah.
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I should have known.
And it's Painkiller. I mean, what can you say?
Yeah.
It's just fucking brilliant. This song, the
Brutal.
guitaring's amazing. Like you said, brutal, bit thrashy. I suppose they were really like going for it on this album altogether. Really, one of the best albums they recorded. I love everything about this song, and everyone who knows I'm not a massive Judas Priest fan, but I've always said about this song, this is one of those songs where, you know, if someone said to you and they'd never heard of metal before or anything, they said, you know, play me a metal song, this could be one of them, couldn't it? You'd be like,
Oh, is that what you say? I haven't heard you say that before.
Yeah, yeah. It's just one of them. It's just relentless, isn't it? It's relentless. And just when you think it's going to stop, it starts again, and it gives you a bit more. And it's amazing. So Judas Priest, Painkiller. I thought I did have a few. There were so many number ones, man. That I was
Tell me about it.
I was getting really like, you know, I really wanted to do some others, but I felt bad about what, you know, Judas Priest. And I thought when they do and when they do get it right, and they did completely on this song, I thought I've got to put it in there.
I appreciate that, Lee, that you were thinking that, you know, maybe you've got them a little bit wrong after all these years.
Maybe, mate, maybe.
No, I remember the first time I heard Painkiller, I saw the video. And I remember just my jaw dropping, and it kept going and it kept going and it kept going. I'm like, how many riffs, how many solos can we take? It's just overload. And the video is like flashing lights. Thank fuck I wasn't, you know, having a seizure or something. And Jesus, it was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's definitely one of them, you know, if you're gonna explain what metal is, Painkiller. There you go. Yeah, definitely. Fuck yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, well that's 3 brilliant tracks to start with.
Gee, yeah.
There you go. Let's add to your playlist at home if you've not already heard them. So, okay, number 2. What we got then, mate?
Number 2. Well, we're going to where we started on last year. We're going to the Seattle scene, and we're going Alice in Chains. Over here, CD, and we're going Man in the Box. Yeah. Classic chugging track. I mean, anything off this album could have gone there. It's probably one of them albums where there's a couple I haven't got anything off because there's too many good tracks, if you know what I mean. They just fell into the right place. It didn't have anything else particularly I would have rather put on than this. But Man in the Box, this sort of put Alice in Chains on the scene, if you like. I think it probably did better than We Die Young, which is the opening track, which is great as well. But this put them there. Great vocals by Lane Staley, the late Lane Staley. And just a great song. Only 3 or 4 minute song, but a great song.
I think We Die Young. We can mention We Die Young now, can't we? We've gone past number 1. Yeah. That's one of the ones I wanted as my number 1 as well. It's just Painkillers, classic, so classic. But yeah, great choice, mate. Man in the Box. I like the. Has anyone heard the cat? Is it the Cat in the Box? Has anyone heard that song?
So, is it meow meow meow?
Meow 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 meow, and then I'm the cat in the box about shitting in your cat tray. It's fucking brilliant. You got to check it out. It's on YouTube after this. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And it says shit in the song as well, doesn't it? So you know, the lyrics are totally changed to fit the cat. So it's absolutely brilliant. And I love cats. And I love Alice in Chains. So there you go. You can't get better than that. Okay. What you got there, Bob?
Shout out to the Allison Cat. Shout out to them. Okay, so my number 2 is Soul for Soul album from the mighty Bruce Dickinson. This is I don't want your big city shining. I don't want to be a tattoo millionaire.
Yeah.
I think it's a really great lost single. I love it. And you heard it a lot, or at the time, but geez, nobody ever plays it or talks about this anymore. But what a great melodic tune. Just think it's fantastic, and I think it's funny that he's making fun of all the LA, tattooed millionaires, obviously. But I really think that's a strong song. The album is good. It's pretty good, but this is definitely the standout track for me. So.
Yeah, I mean, for the solo stuff got better as it went on, didn't it? Apart from one album that I think was terrible, that everyone else sort of doesn't see. But
it's probably my favorite, the one you're talking about, but that'll come in a few years.
Yeah. So, but no, it's such a great song that I chose that as well. Tattooed Millionaire. There you go, Bruce Dickinson.
Fuck no way!
Come on.
Results.
I had it as my as an honourable mention as well. I went to see this tour.
Wow.
I mean, from Maiden, it was a bit of a shock to see him do something so melodic, and different from Maiden, I think, at the time. And I don't really, wasn't a massive fan of the album, but I did go to see it, and I think it was at the Astoria in London. And I believe, because I've only been twice, I'm sure that the Wild Hearts opened for him. And that was the first time
back in 90 even.
Yeah, 1990, I think so. And it was the first time I got introduced to the Wild Hearts, and that's why my love for them started, I think, because I don't think they released anything at the time. But I might be wrong, but don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure, because I've only been to the Astoria twice.
Yeah.
What was the Astoria? It's gone now, isn't it, I think? But, good song. Good song.
Yeah, great song. It's really fun, like you said. Really fun, catchy, upbeat. Love it. Great vocal as well.
That's wild. I thought of the three of us, I would be the only supporter of the song, and look, you even have it, and you have it on your honorable mention. Wow. Yeah. Never know with you guys, man. Never know.
That's it. No, that's great. Okay, an excellent opening, guys.
Yes.
2 tracks. So track 3, what you got, Jam?
Well, ripping through. I'm unfortunate. Well, not unfortunate. This is my only British band on my list, which I was a bit surprised about, considering the year. I've got a lot of
disgusting behaviour.
I know.
Yeah.
But we're going for a great British band, and that is Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
The debut album, Backstreet Symphony. All looking very young there. And it is, one of my top 3 ballads. I think one of them I had on my last list. And this is Don't Wait For Me. I love this song. Wow. I think the vocals from Danny Bowes and the guitar from Luke Morley are absolutely fantastic on this song. It's not one of the ones that normally people mention as the best ballad on this album. I won't mention the others, obviously, because they might be coming up. But for me, it's always been the best ballad on the album, and I love it. Don't Wait For Me,
Right. I saw them in Download. I saw them at Download. You probably did as well. Yeah. I don't know, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. And they were fucking excellent. His vocals were just as good.
He's brilliant, Danny Bowes. I love him. He does Planet Rock radio show. He's a funny man as well. He's good to listen to, and he's knowledgeable, and I like him. But his vocals on this, and Luke Morley's guitaring on this is fantastic. So if you don't know it, check it out.
Great song, great album. Okay, what you got, Dom?
I agree. Have you guys, just by chance, have you ever seen Backstreet Symphony was released once in the States, and then they got re-signed to Geffen, and they re-released the album. Ever seen the Alternatives US cover?
No.
Album cover, because it's different from the UK one?
Right.
No?
No,
not seen it. No.
Look it up.
I'll check it out.
Look it up. It's interesting. It's much more rock. It's just whoever his name is. What was the guitar player's name? Sorry?
Luke Morley.
Yeah. So it's just like it's very much more rock. They're trying to get the point across. This is a rock band, folks.
Yeah, because Harry, the drummer, was a bit of a character back in the 90s. He was always sort of did interviews and
who doesn't love Harry?
Yeah, he's got hair there.
Whoa. Okay, number 3. Yeah.
Yep.
Number 3 for me is Slaughter, Up All Night. This was a huge rock album.
Sleep all day. Yeah.
You guys know it. Cool.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think they did much over here, but they certainly were quite popular in the States. Saw them a million times. But this is the one track that everybody will remember, probably. Well, except for the ballad, but I don't really count those.
Yeah.
Just a great rock anthem. Just
Oh, yeah.
And a great comeback from their terrible experience in Vinnie Vincent Invasion.
Fucking
really kind of
I know.
Well, I mean, you know, I like Vinnie Vincent Invasion, but apparently it was just hell touring with him, you know. So this is another one of those things where we'll prove, you know, we've talked about that kind of albums before where they break away and just say, fuck you, see, this is really what we're made of, you know. And yeah, it was a great debut album, very immediate, and I love the production as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, he made it quite big, didn't he? He done well out of that, Mark Slaughter, coming out of that Vinnie Vincent band. And I think that album did really well as well. I'm not 100% sure what the actual figures, but I think he done really well for that album.
I think it must have went double platinum in the States, so that's 2 million, which is pretty damn good for a debut album.
Not too good after, obviously. Didn't hear a lot from him. He's still making some music now, but I think that album was quite big. Yeah.
It's still big over here, I think. Oh, well, we all know it, don't we? So
yeah, definitely. No, it's good. Good album. I had that one. I definitely had that one. So
yeah.
Okay. Well, my third track is from. This is for the album for me. Was the start of the decline of this band, but there's a few good tracks on it. One of my favourite bands though from the 80s, Scorpions.
Yeah.
So from the album Crazy World, which, like I said, I wasn't too keen on at all, especially after I loved Savage Amusement. I thought it was a great album, even though a lot of fans consider it not to be so much. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. And then this was a bit of a downhill one for me. But To Be With You in Heaven is the song. I think it had more of that sound that the Scorpions did have.
Great song.
It's a great song, but a great song on a mediocre album for them. I mean, I shouldn't mention the single off this, but I can't stand that fucking song. I can't. The big hit off this.
Just fucking whistle it, dude. Fucking whistle it.
Oh man, it just does my brain in, because I mean the Scorpions had so many great songs. It was good for them because, man, what a time to hit because of the meaning of the song and all that. It obviously exploded, that song. Really happy for them, and maybe it got people into the Scorpions who went back and listened to some decent stuff, you know. But just the production as well on that, the mix on that album was just very poor compared to what came before. But To Be With You in Heaven is a real melodic, excellent chorus, really brilliant chorus. That's it. That's my track 3.
Cool.
All right. Okay. I hope no one's got the whistling song.
No.
You just have to wait and find out, man.
Okay, track 4, we got to go.
Track 4, okay, going to one of my favourite bands, and it is a Canadian thrash metal band, and it's Annihilator. And from their second, I couldn't get anything from the first album on my list last time, which had come out the year before, but it's from the Never Neverland, and it's Stonewall. Brilliant. Annihilator, fantastic. I mean, they've had revolving door of members, but obviously, I forgot his name.
Jeff Waters.
Yeah, he's the main man who's been there. He even sings now. He did a few albums where he sang. He's had lots of different singers, and this is Coben Farr, I believe, was a singer on this album. I think he did 2 or 3. And Stonewall's great song.
Wasp. Sorry.
Great song from a great album. Annihilator, a bit different from most thrash bands. They had his songwriting was so much more intricate and lots of sort of different passages. And they're not all that. They had a bit of a dull, like most bands did in the sort of the 90s. Their albums weren't so good, but the new Annihilator albums, last 4 or 5, have been absolutely fantastic. And I don't know why, but some of the best gigs I've ever been to have been Annihilator. There's nothing special about them necessarily, but I just really enjoyed the gigs. You know, they've done some great songs, and Stonewall is definitely up there with them. I would have had the title track, which I think I can mention because we've gone past it. Maybe not. Sorry if we haven't. But the title track from this album is fantastic as well. But Stonewall is a stone cold great song.
Well, I mean, the Annihilator, I've heard some of the more modern stuff. I quite like the like you said, the last few albums have been good. But
Really
I never heard the old ones. So.
Oh, well, you better check them out. Definitely check out Never Neverland. The album is brilliant.
Cool. All right.
And Alison Hell.
And they've got a big fan base as well.
Cool.
I mean,
That's a band.
Yeah, a lot of people, a bit of a cult following. Again, one of them bands in it that a lot of people love.
Yeah.
Hear a lot about.
Very good.
So these last albums that you were talking about, Jen, that were so good, is he singing on all of those?
He sung on the He's done the last two, I believe, and he did have a singer in before who did about 3 or 4. Who was really, really good. I saw him, Dave Padden, I think his name was, and he was a really good singer. They sort of seemed to have a connection and did a few albums together, and then inexplicably he left because I think he just decided he didn't want to be a rock star anymore, and he sort of retired, sort of thing. But he was a very good singer. But I do believe that Jeff Waters has sung the last 2 at least.
Has he got a Mohican now? Has he got a Mohican now, the singer?
Yeah. Yeah, very good. One of the last bands I saw actually before we went into lockdown, actually, something like that, on their last tour.
Cool, excellent. Well, what you got, Dom?
All right, let's see. Okay, back to the glam slam merchants from Wales, Tiger Tails. This is probably my favorite tune of theirs. Noise Levels Critical. Don't know if you know this one. Yeah, it's a single. Kind of a Leopard kind of. Noise Levels Critical. Kind of a stomp and clap song, you know. Really good, really great song. Probably their finest moment, I think, and their best shot at success. But you know, they were on an independent in the States and stuff, so they just never got a look in. They didn't get signed to a major in the States, and yeah. So, but popular here, certainly. I mean, they can play Odeons and things like that, and all that stuff. So,
what was the album?
Oh, sorry. This is Berserk.
Berserk, that's right. Yeah, I can think of it. That's right.
Was there Tiger Tail? Was that a name of a club or something in America? Is that what it's named after? I'm sure it's
there's a strip club that gets mentioned in Girls, Girls, Girls.
Ah, yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Forget the Tiger Tails and somewhere or something. So that's probably where they got the name. But
yeah. No, cool. Excellent, mate. Glad to see a bit of glam still around in 1990.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, my track 4, I've mentioned this band before, Pretty Maids, Danish band, and the song Savage Heart from the album Jump the Gun. So a great song. This is, now again, the album before is my favourite from them, Future World, which come out 89, I think. This is still a good album, but just slightly off of what we had before. Front loaded, really. One of them albums that front loaded with some great songs and then dies off a little bit for me towards the end. But Savage Heart is probably the standout track on the album. Just so catchy. I think you could say it's near enough a ballad. It's probably just stepping in just past the ballad territory. And I've actually worked it out. If this is a ballad, I've got 5 ballads.
Oh. Yeah.
5 ballads?
Yeah, 4 plus this one then, I suppose. But what a brilliant tune. It's just so catchy, and it's just, this could have been on the Future World album. There's a few songs on this album that were great, but just didn't live up to the Future World album, I'm afraid. But still a brilliant song. There you go.
I think Jammin and I need to catch up on some Pretty Maids.
Definitely, you like them.
That's like their third appearance or something, right?
They can be a little bit. The guitar, and especially a little bit thrashy as well, but it's sort of very melodic at the same time. But the guitar in itself, you could say, is a bit thrashy. But they are such a great band, and difficult for them, I suppose, during the 80s and that, because they were Danish, not your usual American band, but they were a great.
And that fucking name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's not good, is it?
Surely they must have toured with DAD. They could have done double Danish, couldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. But no, check them out.
I think I've seen that film, A Double Danish.
Yeah. If you are
probably in the Tiger Tail strip club.
Yeah, exactly. If you are going to go away though and listen to any Pretty Maids, and you probably won't, Future World album, listen to that.
Of course, I'll add it to my lead playlist.
Yes, exactly. All right, okay. What you got next again, guys? We've track 5.
Track 5, okay. We're going to go to another band that was on that album I mentioned last one, which was the Deaf American promo album or something. Yeah, and it was a band called Trouble, which are a doom band. This was when they got signed to Deaf American. They'd actually released about 3 or 4 albums before this, I think, on a independent label, I guess. But this is from their self-titled album, which was, say, 3rd or 4th album, I think. And it's The Misery Shows Act 2.
Sounds cheerful.
Well, yeah, exactly. It isn't cheerful, but it's not really doomy. It's more of a sort of It's not really a ballad either. I don't know how to describe it. It's just it's an epic song. It's about 7 minutes long. A lot of my songs are epic, but yeah, it's sort of a dreamy start almost, and it's
I would say a bit psychedelic would be a good word for it, I think.
Exactly, and it definitely has vibes of Pink Floyd on it. Certainly towards the end for me. It's a brilliant song. If you haven't heard it, it's not doom metal. Even if you like doom metal, it's not really like the rest of the stuff. Like Psychotic Reaction, the first track, which I can mention now because no one's picked it, is really great stuff. It's a good album, but this is more of a sort of dreamy, psychedelic, as you say, Pinky Floyd type sound. It's a great song. If you haven't heard it, it's definitely worth listening to.
Great band, yeah. I wasn't too much into the two previous albums that were on Metal Blade. They're a bit, I don't know. But once Ruben got a hold of it, this is when Deaf American could do no wrong.
Exactly, yeah.
If a new band came out on this label, you knew they're going to be great. This was like Black Crowes was this year. Shake Your Money Man for the first one. Of course, we have all of our favorites, Danzig and Slayer and everybody else. And
Wolfsbane,
they were just riding high. Yeah.
Well, I was all up for adding that to my playlist until you mentioned Pink Floyd. So,
yeah. Wah, wah, wah.
Fucking hell. You could add that to my overrated bands list. Beatles at the top and Pink Floyd right underneath.
I love Pink Floyd. Absolutely love Pink Floyd.
We've got to disagree sometimes, haven't we?
We do. Exactly.
Enough of your lip, Lee.
Yeah, right, okay. I'll be quiet now. What you got then, Tom?
Actually, Pink Floyd is similar to the Beatles, where I don't really listen to them very much, but I do like music that's inspired by them. So, make sense of that what you will. Okay, number 5 is somebody I've always been in the corner of, and I love him, and he's great. And unfortunately, he's well known for being a sideman for another overrated band. This is Kill for Thrills is the band, featuring Gilby Clarke. Oh, right. The name of the song is Something for the Suffering, and the name of the album is Dynamite from Nightmare Land. This is their second album, but their only major label album. So this is obviously 1990, so this is where they plucked him for Use Your Illusion tour. But he's always been fantastic on his own. He was in a band before this called Candy, which was like a power pop band, another huge cult band, similar to like Angel or something, So he was in that, and then Kill for Thrills was his next band. And he's also released some terrific solo albums through the years, so you'll be hearing more about him for sure. But this was a great album, especially I went back to listen to some 1990 stuff that I hadn't really listened to for a while, but I knew I liked it at the time. And I put this track on, I was like, holy shit, this is fantastic. Just great riffy rock and roll, just really good. Kind of Stonesy, I guess, but, turned up to 11. Yeah, really good, really catchy. He doesn't have, a spectacular voice, but he's got a personable voice, which, sometimes that's even better than being able to hit the high notes. If they've got a bit of personality in their voice, it really adds to it. And I think it does with this as well. So band is Kill for Thrills. If you ever want to check them out, Gilby Clarke.
No, it's nice to hear some more unknown stuff. That's what this is all about, isn't it? If people haven't heard of that, that's cool. I'm probably going to mention something that's very well known, but Pantera is my number 5.
Yeah.
So Cemetery Gates.
Yeah, great song.
What an excellent song from Cowboys from Hell. I wasn't actually into Pantera that much at this point. It was the next album where I really got into them. Forward Display of Power on it, I think that one. But
I will say as well, yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah, and then I love the next album even more, Far Beyond Driven. But this song, obviously, and a few others on here were right up my street. It's very, well, you've already mentioned in your jam a couple of times, epic. This one is epic. I love it when they sort of slow things down a bit, and Phil Anselmo can sing quite well with it as well, couldn't he? Instead of just the latter. I mean, I know he's not always shouting. He has got quite a good voice. So that's probably why I prefer the down stuff, because he sings more. But Cemetery Gates is just fucking amazing. I don't know if you ever turn this up in your car or whenever you listen to it, but when that guitar shrieks, it fucking near enough deafens you.
Yeah.
Fucking long. You're like, fucking but it's brilliant. It's brilliant
And you fucking love it.
Oh, I fucking do, yeah. It's a great
My
song.
ears are bleeding. Yes.
I go on about all the time how bands can get heavier when they slow it down. And this just proves it. The quiet bits, when it gets heavier, it makes it sound 10 times heavier than a thrashy song that they used to do. Do you know what I mean? So I love it. You know, brilliant song. Cemetery Gates. Classic.
Great song.
Right on.
There you go.
Cool.
Okay, track 6.
Track 6. Okay. Well, going back to epic songs, this is an even more epic song, being 11 minutes long, and another band that you two won't listen to, and that is Jane's Addiction from Ritual de la Habituelle, and it's the song 3 Days. Now, this song, please listen to this song. It's a progressive rock song from Jane's Addiction, which you wouldn't expect it to be.
But Dominic knows what it is. Dominic knows what it is. It's just me.
Yeah. Well, okay. I don't think Dom likes Jane's Addiction though particularly, but anyway.
Well, I have to say you said something early on where you said my very favorite Jane's Addiction song. It'll be coming up in a later year, and I was like, it's fucking 3 days. I know it is. I know it's 3 days.
It's brilliant, isn't it? You must agree. It's a great song. It's fantastic. I didn't realise until I was looking at it. Apparently, the first 5 tracks on this album are all just rock songs, and then the rest of the tracks are all dedicated to his girlfriend who actually died of a drugs overdose apparently at age 19. So and this is the first of those tracks, I think, track 6. But 3 Days, it goes quite heavy at the end, but it starts off all dreamy and you don't expect progressive rock tracks from Jane's Addiction, and it's just brilliant. If you've not heard it, please listen to it. I'm not going to say any more than that. Just listen to it. Great song.
Well, I'm going out soon to the local town. It takes me 11 minutes to get there. So
there you go.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
There you go. I'll let you know.
You better not be taking a
I won't hold my breath.
This is one of Jam's very favorite songs of all time.
Exactly.
You can do one car ride dedicated to Jam for all he's done for us here.
Yes.
Creating this.
Put me through fucking hell. Put me through hell every fucking week.
Yeah.
By the way, the whole album is really good as well. If you like, it has got some proper normal rock songs, like obviously Being Caught Stealing's on this one, which everybody knows. These are tracks that are obviously earlier on this, so we can mention them. Being Caught Stealing, Obvious, Stop. It's a great album anyway. It's their best album, definitely by far.
Oh, do you like it? Even though I know that 3 Days is your favorite track, you actually like this more than Nothing Shocking then?
Yes, it's probably my favorite album. Yeah, I think so. Nothing Shocking is brilliant as well, but yeah.
Fair enough. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Another one, number 6 for me is one of those AC/DC inspired bands that I love so much. This is a band called Rhino Bucket.
Oh, remember them? Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Let me hear you say Rhino Bucket. No. Yeah, they had 2 albums on Warner Brothers, so they got a decent push on a major label. This is their self-titled album. This song is so great. Blood on the Cross, it's called. The best thing about Rhino Bucket, I would say, compared to some of the other ones, some of the other AC/DC inspired ones, is they knew how important the rhythm section was. So they've got this really just in the pocket drum and bass combo that fucking great, just like little asides and stuff, and catchy as hell. Certainly, I like this song more than most on Razor's Edge, which was the big AC/DC album that year. I think this song is just terrific. So if you ever feel like hearing some alternative AC/DC, as we'll say, this is it, Rhino Bucket.
I remember them at the time, and I think I had the album. That song sounds familiar, but it would have been 32 years since I heard it last. But,
Give the devil its due. That's kind of the chorus there.
Who's your favourite band now? AC/DC inspired band now, Dom? Because there's a few about now, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know all of them. I don't. Airborne's okay.
I'll tell you what, I love The Treatment. Have you heard them?
The Treatment are good.
Yeah. Oh, I love The Treatment. Yeah, I've got all their records. I guess I don't really think of them as being in that category, but yeah.
No, but yeah, I mean, they flirt in and out of it, don't they? Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
That Waiting for Good Luck album, that last one is excellent. Really good. Okay. Good one, though, mate. Okay, my track 6. There was a bit of a big split, wasn't there, from Dokken way back then. You've already mentioned Lynch Mob, obviously, but Don Dokken also brought out a really great album that apparently was going to be the next Dokken album. Most of it was written for a Dokken album. It does sound very Dokken. Obviously, his voice helps that as well. But it's a song called "When Love Finds a Fool." It's a ballad, and it could have been stuck on Under Lock and Key, or it's a great song. He's got such a smooth voice. What he did then, obviously, he can't even talk now. But he had a great voice back then. Definitely different than others that were around as well. And so when you hear his tone, it's just unmistakable as well, isn't it? But yeah, that was a great album, Up From the Ashes. A really good album. I don't know if it's as good as Lynch Mob, but it was still a good shot at a very Dokken sounding record. But
yeah. Well, and we have to mention that he had John Norum, who had just left Europe, on this album, so he got to do a bit more flash than he was probably more at home doing this kind of stuff, I would think.
Definitely let loose a little bit.
And we should probably mention the album's called Up From the Ashes as well.
Yeah, brilliant album, Up From the Ashes, Don Dokken. When Love Finds the Fall. There's a lot of tracks in here I could have chose, but I sort of had a couple of spaces left. You know what this is like, figuring these tracks out, and it fitted straight in there. So Don Dokken's my number 6. Okay.
I would have loved to have seen that band live, just because they weren't around for very long, so it would have been really cool to see them, and I'm sure they interpreted some Dokken songs, and it probably would have been pretty cool tour. But well.
Okay, back to Jam for track 7.
Track 7. Well, I'm going to go to a band. In fact, this is one of the you did a reaction for this, or not this song, but for this band, I suggested. Spread Eagle.
Oh.
Sorry. Flying it, and it is track number 6, obviously, and it is Scratch Like a Cat.
Track 7,
brilliant song.
Track 7. Am I on the right track?
7, yeah.
Oh, I thought you'd fucked up there, Jen.
And he was ready, man. He was ready to pounce.
Oh, he was ready. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Pounce like a cat. Scratch.
I was.
Yeah. Scratch like a cat.
Meow, meow, meow.
We've had a few cats mentioned today, haven't we?
Yeah. I had the
a wildcat as well.
Yeah. I wanted to choose. Sorry, before you go on, I wanted to choose Broken City for track 1.
Broken City, yeah.
I mean, fucking hell, they did Skid Row, Slaves of the Grind before it even came out, didn't they?
They did. It is brutal. This album is brutally. It's sleazy, but heavy sleaze, isn't it? It's fantastic. His singing is so gravelly, especially on this song. I couldn't. I bet he must smoke about 40 fags a day, and I don't know if he can still sing now, but it's brilliant. Scratch Like a Cat, great song, great album. Never went on to be any. The second album was all right, actually, but I've done one. Was it last year, actually?
Yeah, for me, it didn't sound.
I have that. Yeah,
it didn't sound like them to me. It didn't.
No,
obviously, it's all them years later, isn't it? But you just, I don't know.
No, it was definitely still kind of a post grunge kind of sound.
Yeah.
But so did you say, Jen, that this is one that you had suggested to Lee early in his channel that he did you?
Well, not this song. It was Broken City, but
okay.
You know what, Jam? Because it's a long time ago, about a year and a bit ago. I can't. Was it you that mentioned doing this one? Was it?
It was, yeah.
Oh man, that's cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a great song.
Mm.
When I used to do them in my car.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is before you got 50 subscribers, I believe. I remember that.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Oh no, it was good.
But I got a message from Rob DeLuca because of that reaction as well, and he messaged me on the put a comment.
You said it was Skid Row-esque, didn't you? And he said that we did it first.
Yes, he corrected me. Yes, he did. He won't be the first musician to correct me. Don't worry about that. Or the last.
Your pal from Primal Fear really put you in your place, didn't he?
I mean, I'll tell you, when a doorbell goes, I fucking look to see if there's like an 8-foot tall skinhead, and I'll just in case I won't answer it. Okay, yeah, well, brilliant choice there, mate. Excellent band as well.
Let's see. All right, here's a band that they were popular in the States, but I think they were even bigger here. They can still come over. He can still come over and tour all the time. So this is Love Hate. Album Blackout in the Red Room. This track is She's an Angel. It's a fucking barnstormer, man. When that kicks in, it's one of those that kind of has a acoustic-y opening, but then it just slaps you in the face, and then it kicks in, man. I just love it. That song still kind of excites me when it comes on. I saw him about 3 years ago. Well, now he's Love Hate, but it's just him. But he still had the voice. He hit all the notes. It wasn't down tuned or anything to bring it down for his range. But he waited until the second encore to do this song because I didn't think he was going to do it. And when it started, I just lost my mind because by the second encore, you're pretty drunk already. So
yeah. So he might not have been hitting all the notes, but it seemed like it.
Yeah, in my head he was. No, it's great and such a great track. One of their better known ones, I think. So, really love that album as well.
And that's got to be a real cult status following that album as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. He's still. I mean, and anybody that can, even though they're small venues, anybody that can still come out all the way over to the UK, and do a tour and make some money or at least break even or something. I mean, I think they're doing something right.
Definitely.
I had tickets to see Jizzy Pearl's Love Hate, and it got just obviously postponed, delayed, and they've rearranged the date, and it's the same day I'm going to see. Well, hopefully going to see Ozzy Osbourne. So it was just bloody typical. So I had to cancel my tickets, but I was due to see him do a whole of Blackout live.
I was going to say you've got more of a chance to see Love Hate than you have fucking Ozzy.
Exactly. So I'm thinking if Ozzy cancels again or postpones, I might rebook my tickets. But at the moment, I can't see
back.
It,
yeah.
Okay, so I had a ballad for my number 6. I've noticed the next 2 songs are ballads, so I'm really going to slow my track listing down.
We're not surprised in the least, Lee. So,
but this is from a band that you've had before, Dom, and a band that took a lot of stick for no good reason whatsoever because they're great, and it's Winger, and it's the song Under One Condition. Love it, absolutely. I'll mend your broken heart,
he said,
under one condition. Oh, that's a bit of a harmonising going on there, I think, Dom.
That lovely.
Absolutely superb.
We're the metal Simon and Garfunkel.
We are. I mean, this was before they got a bit more progressive, wasn't it? I mean, there's a couple of songs in here that are a bit of a turn, Then after this, they got a bit more. I think it was just like a middle finger to people who said they were just like a glam 80s band. Really, they said, well, you know what we can do? We can do something that's a bit more intelligent than that. And the next few albums were something to behold, really. Absolutely brilliant. Under One Condition, brilliant ballad. I love In the Heart of the Young album. It's my favourite album from them, actually. I love it. So there you go. Winger.
Cool.
There you go.
Great album. What can I say? Yeah, love those guys.
That's my Beavis and Butthead impression.
Beavis and Butthead.
God, don't mention this. Even though I love Beavis and Butthead, I do. I always laughed at them, but now everybody's whenever they think of Winger, they think of that or that moment in Metallica history when he has Winger on that chalkboard or whatever.
Yeah, prick. There you go. Okay. Track 8.
Okay. Going back to, we're talking ballads, aren't we? And I'm going back to Deaf American again. And I think we mentioned it earlier. It's and it's also one of the albums of 2 that were on my Desert Island Disc ones. And it's the Black Crowes debut album, Shake Your Moneymaker. And probably this is my third of my top 3 ballads, I guess. I've had one already on this list. And this is my second one. And it's She Talks to Angels from this album. This album is fantastic. It's just the epitome of rock and roll, this album. If you wanted to say what rock and roll is, it's this album. Like Painkiller was metal, this is rock and roll. Stones, but turned up to more of a hard rock sound. This could be a Rolling Stones ballad, if you like. But not they're a copycat or anything like that. But She Talks to Angels. Brilliant singing. Brilliant song. I'll leave it at that.
Agree, yeah. Great debut album. They went places in their career that I didn't really like after this. A bit more jammy and a bit more, psychedelic or whatever. But this album and the look and everything of the band was just fantastic. I saw them support Robert Plant very early into the tour, and they were fantastic. And then the album hit so late that I saw them again, still supporting the first album, but at least a year later, and they were headlining, and I didn't like them at all. They had just become kind of, they did like Allman Brothers covers and shit, and it was just like, ugh. But when they came right out of the box, they were fresh and young and hungry and terrific.
See, I preferred them a bit later on when they were a bit more southern for me. That's my sort of thing, I suppose. You know what I mean? When they went more southern.
Fair enough.
That next album, I love the next album. I can't even remember what it's called. Is it the Southern
Harmonica, something?
Musical
Harmonious
Companion, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
I really like that album, but they did go really southern at that point, didn't they?
There's some good songs on it. I've got to see these if it happens later in the year. They're actually doing the whole of this album live. And
are they? Is that the shtick for the tour?
Yeah. Right. That's the thing. And he got postponed and cancelled, and I've rebooked, but going to Brixton Academy hopefully, and in September, October time, and they're hopefully doing this whole album. Whether they'll come over or not, I don't know.
Oh, good.
Cool.
Good.
Okay, good one, mate. What you got, Don?
All right. Where are we at? Oh, okay. I've got a little left field choice here that everyone will appreciate, I think. It's in my top 3 songs of this band.
Kylie Minogue.
Sorry?
Kylie Minogue.
No. Well, she's not a band, is she?
No, that's true.
Well, who knows? This is from the soundtrack to The Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
Oh,
this is Queensryche with Last Time in Paris, which is one of my favorite songs of theirs. I believe it ended up as a B-side to maybe Silent Lucidity, something like that. But this was the first appearance, and they never had a compilation of B-sides or whatever, so I figured this is my only shot of getting it on a list somewhere. So this was track 8 on the soundtrack. Decent soundtrack as well. This had Motley Crue, Rock and Roll Junkie, if you remember Vince Neil's in the movie as well. Anyway, Last Time in Paris, great riff, really catchy song. Definitely a very kind of melodic mainstream rock song for them. But just terrific all the same. I don't know if you've ever heard it or not, but love it.
Nice to pluck a little unusual one off a soundtrack.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought I would have heard this song. I've never heard of it, to be honest. I mean,
I think you would
really like it.
Yeah, I have heard it a couple of times on YouTube, but not quite a long time ago. I can't really remember it, to tell you the truth. But
got a terrific riff. Yeah, it's a bit more. Yeah, as I say, it's quite kind of mainstream hard rock for them. Kind of riffy, which as great as Queensryche were, they weren't really riff meisters per se. But
they were starting to get more that way, weren't they? At this time, a little bit with Empire, a little bit.
Yeah. So check it out. Yeah, because this was recorded the Empire sessions. So check it out. Last Time in Paris.
Cool.
It's been added. I've got an Empire reissue with when they put loads of bonus tracks on. I wouldn't be surprised if it's on there. I'll have to have a look.
It is on there.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, I've probably got it then. I'll have to have another.
Cool. Excellent. Okay, right. I'm going for my third ballad in a row, obviously.
Ooh.
Bit of Striper. So, a bit controversial for them at the time. The yellow and black, they got rid of that. They weren't following the Christian message so much. The Against the Law album. So they went a bit more sort of straight rock and roll, I suppose, on this album. And Michael Sweet actually hates the album. He doesn't like it at all, apart from a
Does he?
track. Yeah, he doesn't like it, but it's a great album. And a lot of fans actually love this album. I suppose because of, I don't know, it sort of splits the fans. A lot of the fans don't like the fact that they didn't completely drop the Christian message, but they did. It wasn't as in your face as the other albums. It was more like, I suppose the messages on the album were more like be a good person rather than follow Jesus. It was like one of them sort of albums, really. But the song is called Lady, and it's a really cool ballad. It's, it's got that sort of, a bit like a lot of the bands did in the 80s. They had that sort of slightly cowboyish sort of feel to the ballads. Do you know what I mean? It had that like sort of country and western type sound to it. But it's an absolutely brilliant song. and it's sort of the same all the way through. It doesn't really build, but from the beginning it's the same. But it's an absolutely brilliant song with a great simple chorus. Striper and Lady, excellent song. So he's singing about his woman rather than the Lord. If you know
the Lord.
Yeah. There you go. So
how secular is that, eh?
Exactly.
Carnal lust.
Striper and Lady. That's my third ballad in a row. Have I got another one? Yeah, I have got another ballad. Not yet, though.
Never disappoint, Lee.
Of course. Okay, track 9.
Okay, track 9. Well, I've got a T-shirt on. Couldn't be a list without mentioning this. And this is a third of a Deaf American Def Jam hat trick, and four Deaf American Def Jam on my list in total. And it's the best Danzig album, Danzig 2. This is one that isn't an original vinyl. It's about one of the only 2 that aren't original. I think it's a picture CD disc, but yeah, it's Danzig 2. There's a different cover, I think, and there is a cover with just his chest on it, which obviously is not so great, but it's the cover I remember from when I had it on CD originally. And this is I guess you'd call this a ballad, I suppose. Blood and Tears is a song. This could have been any song off this album. It just fitted in it. I just put it on because there was a space at 9. And it's Danzig at full croon. And his voice is brilliant on this. If you like Danzig, I mean, it's not to everyone's taste, but Blood and Tears, slow, well, crooning song, as you say. It's not a rock song really at all, but it's a great song on the album. It fits in with the rest of the album perfectly, balances it up, I think. So if you haven't heard it, check it out. There's better songs on this album, Long Way Back from Hell, Devil's Plaything, 777 to name but a few. And
I love 777. That's
777 is a great song. I mean, the whole album is Danzig.
Whoa, under her black wing.
Brilliant.
I've got
great album.
I've got something to make you jealous here, Jam. I saw Danzig on this tour and Trouble supported.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah.
It was quite good.
I managed to see Danzig 3 times because he doesn't like coming over to the UK because of we all know London Dungeon song from when he was in the Misfits. He doesn't like coming over here, but I saw him the headline download when the third stage was a tent, which was good. And that was brilliant. Saw him there. And I saw him on this tour, which was an anniversary, and I saw him at Brixton Academy, and I saw him in Wolverhampton. So I've seen him 3 times. I don't expect he'll probably come back again, but at least I've seen him. So cool.
All right.
I'm going to go for 777 on the way home from town.
Oh, okay, good.
There you are. Yep. Yeah. I just love how we followed Striper with Danzig. I mean, fucking amazing, man. Okay, well, here I'll just backtrack to one of my favorite bands. I know you guys don't really rate this album very high, but it was still. Oh. I'm still quite comfortable putting it in their classic album category. Cinderella, Heartbreak Station. This track is Electric Love. Great groove on this one. I will say it's not, it's certainly not Shake Me or Somebody Save Me. It's a bit different. It sounds a bit more 70s. But just a great groove. Love this song. I know it's kind of late in the album, but I've always found this one to be just terrific. Love his vocals on it. So there you go. Everyone knows Cinderella, so I'll talk about them.
Well, everyone knows this next band as well, and it's probably the album that everyone gives so much stick. Rap fans give so much stick to. Detonator. I fucking love this album. I absolutely love it, and obviously,
do you?
Yeah. I mean, I know it was a bit more commercial. They brought Desmond Child in as well, and to give that commerciality, obviously, and it works for what they were going for sure. But it upset a lot of rap fans, I know. But the song, I suppose, this song is more of a classic Rat song. It's Can't Wait on Love.
Yeah,
a real fucking gallop to it.
It does kind of sound like their older stuff.
Yeah. I mean, to tell you the truth, I didn't choose this track because it sounds like their older stuff, because I love nearly everything about that album. I just think it's great. I mean, it had a huge sound to it, very catchy all the way through the album, every single song. But it took a lot of stick. I just thought it was a big improvement on, was it Reach for the Sky was the one before?
Yeah.
Because was really dull for me, that album. I just thought,
album cover as well. Rubbish album cover.
Exactly. Yeah, I think we mentioned it on our worst album cover show, right? But this weren't too fucking good either. This one, but Can't Wait on Love is a great track for me. A great album. It's not Invasion of Your Privacy or Out of the Cellar, that's for sure. No. But it's I absolutely love it.
Would you rank this above Dancing Undercover?
I would have done, but to tell you the truth, I've got a newfound love for Dancing Undercover.
Yeah.
And especially Body Talk. I fucking love that song. I love, do you know what? I was listening to that track the other day. I know we're not talking about Body Talk now. My favourite line out of maybe a Rat song altogether is, "You live your life, I'll live mine underground." Almost like he thinks he's an actual rat. It's fucking brilliant, isn't it? What's that? What does it even mean? He does actually think he's a rat. It's perfect. It's fucking perfect, honestly.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Can't Wait on Love. Can't wait on. I can't wait.
Can't wait on.
Okay. Track 10. Nearly there, guys.
Track 10, okay. So I'm going to go from include me hat trick of Deaf American and a double devil. I'm going with Slayer from the Seas of the Abyss album, which is obviously highly rated as probably arguably Slayer's best album. A lot of people say Rain and Blood, of course. Some people like South of Heaven. Seas of the Abyss is probably an amalgamation of both albums. It's got really fast, heavy songs like War Ensemble that could have fitted on Rain and Blood, but then it's got slower ones like Dead Skin Mask, which is a great song, which I would like to put on here. But I've got with the title track, Seasons in the Abyss, brilliant song, covered by Stone Sour not that long ago on one of their covers EPs or whatever they were. And this is a more accessible song for Slayer. It's not a heavy song; it's a medium-paced song, but it's a very good song and great to close the album off with such a song they did up and played live until they retired a couple of years ago. I've seen Slayer many times.
Am I right to think this is Slayer's more accessible?
Stairway to Heaven?
But more accessible for people that were not so much into the extreme metal.
Well, like I say, it's probably a mix of Rain in Blood and South of Heaven, really, because a lot of it's War Ensemble is a brutal song.
It's South of Heaven is the one, isn't it? Ain't that the one?
South of Heaven's a lot slower, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
It's a mix of both of them. Mix of both worlds. It's got something for everybody on this one. But it's definitely their last great album, probably. They did some good stuff. They have done some stuff later. This is pretty good, but it's probably their last great album. Great song. Great album, great song.
Cool. Okay.
Well, my number 10 is my favorite song from my favorite album of this band, and it's Slayer, Seasons in the Abyss, motherfucker.
Exactly. Yeah.
This has always been my favorite song of theirs. I love the video at the Pyramids. Probably, the most melodic they ever got. Maybe we can say that. I'm not sure there's an actual kind of chorus, a little bit. No, I just love everything about it. It's got slow parts. It's got fast parts. It's,
a
lovely.
Real headbanging song, isn't it? It's got great rhythm.
I imagined you with hair then, Dom. I could imagine.
Oh yeah, down the ear,
I could just see it. Yeah, fucking
yeah. It's always my favorite of theirs. I think it's their crowning achievement. And it is my favorite album of theirs, as you say. The perfect mix of Rain and Blood's just total fast throughout the entire album, mixed with a bit of South of Heaven's slower, riffier stuff. I think it just works wonders. So there you go.
Exactly. Yeah.
We match.
Good one. Well, I'm going back to an album that you've already mentioned, Dom, on your track 1. Remember that? So Lynch Mob, brilliant debut album, and the song Through These Eyes. Just a real epic ballad, if you like. So cool. This could even be my favorite one on the album. Song. It's just amazing.
I can see that happening for you.
You can, can't you? Because it's almost a ballad. So there you go. But it's got such a classic feel.
Epic ballad, man. That is Lee Spencer all over.
Oh yeah. I mean, they had so many. This was so different when the Dokken as well. Even though George Lynch's guitar tone was there, and you can hear little glimpses of Dokken, but how different was this for him? And I think that's why it was highly thought of because he went and done something, you know, real rock and roll, wasn't it? Really, this album.
Yes, much more kind of just mainstream hard. I mean, it's not like Dokken were fucking thrash metal, but they definitely their riffs and stuff were very metal, you know, you know. Whereas this was more just kind of almost groovy, you know.
Yeah. No, it's great, and it's the sort of for me. You could say this isn't the sort of thing I should like because it's a little bit bluesy, I suppose, a little bit more rock and roll. But I don't know, man. I think the singer on both of these albums, because there's two different singers on the next one as well, they smashed it out of the park vocally. So,
Only Logan, I loved his voice on this album, and I'm really glad that he came back to do the later albums as well. Great album. You know, as I said, love it.
Wicked Sensation album. Through These Eyes is the track. Lynch Mob. Won't use a Lynch Mob name. They're not a band anymore, by the way. Did you know?
No.
I'm not even going to talk about that.
Yeah.
No, that's just silly.
That's a bit too controversial to talk about that now. This time of the morning. Right. Okay. Track 11. Jan, what you got?
11. Okay. Well, we're going to go to another one of my favourite bands. Well, good year this is. And their debut album, Warrior Soul. Last decade, dead century.
Oh, what a record!
Oh, exactly. Released on Geffen, big acclaim. Like when it got reviewed, bit different, very political. Obviously, American band, very political. And I luckily enough saw these to support Metallica because I think it was Lars or James was a big fan of them, and like they do, Metallica are quite good for that. They like a band, they put you on their bill because they like it. And this is Warrior Soul got put on there. They still exist, sort of. Corey Clark is really pretty much the whole thing, but they're still releasing stuff, but obviously never been as big as they were on the first couple of records. And the song is In Conclusion, which I think is the last track on the album. I'm not sure if there's a 12th track, can't remember. Well, I've got it here. Yes, it is the last track. But once again, I couldn't put anything off this. I think I suggested you a song called Warrior Soul. You didn't like his vocals, I don't think, Lee, but I think he's brilliant.
You would.
I love his vocals.
No. He wouldn't like his vocals, no.
You just know me, don't you?
He's really good. But it's a great album. Second album's really good. The first 3 or 4 albums are brilliant.
I agree.
Definitely check it out.
What song did you recommend to Lee? Was it The Losers?
No, well, it was from the third album. Salutation to Ghetto Nation. It was I can't remember the song.
Okay. I thought you meant it was off of this album. That's fine.
Sorry, no, off this one. It might have been The Losers. I don't know. But anyway, there's a couple of tracks. Okay. But great.
I love him. Yeah, I never got to see him live in this time period, unfortunately. No. But I did. Yeah, as you say, the first 3 albums are terrific, and I still like him. I still bother to listen to the new stuff. You know, it's not as intelligent as these albums are.
No, songs like Fucker and
he talks about partying now all the time.
Exactly.
But you know, it's all right.
I met him at the bar. He's because obviously they're very small now. They're only playing like pub-sized venues these days, and he's quite a small chap, but he still thinks he's a rock star.
Living in his own world, I think.
Oh yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
All right. So
I remember that song.
My 11 is already talked about that album, Lee. This is Winger, last track in the Heart of the Young title track.
Yeah.
This is one of those tracks that we kind of spoke about, that they're getting a little progressive. They're stretching their musical muscles because they can. Really kind of epic-y. Love it. So many songs I love off this album. Under One Condition, I love Rainbow and the Rose. That is a fantastic song. Obviously the singles, Even Can't Get Enough and stuff, I think are great pop rock songs. But this is them stretching a bit, and all the better for it. Really good. So Winger, in the Heart of the Young.
I mean, it's good because I mean they're starting to get some notoriety they didn't have back then. People are starting to see through the bullshit that was fed about them back then. And you get a lot of people are just like, you can see it online. A lot of people are sticking up for them and saying, you know, but then you still get the fucking idiots who won't even bother because they just think they're shit without even listening. So a bit like me, I never listen to anything but think it's crap. But you know what I mean? They was
They even played
unfairly
Download
treated.
a couple of years ago, didn't they? They
Did
played Download a couple of years ago.
I can't remember seeing them on there.
No, I
It was
can't either.
about 3 years ago, I think. They played quite early on the main stage.
Oh,
I think it was raining terribly.
Always rains. Always rains.
Because I saw them in Glasgow, I think the night after or a couple days after, and they said that, and they played a club, and they said we were louder in the club than all of Download were for them. Guess it didn't really go over very well, but they did play the main stage.
Yeah, this is the problem with Download as well. It's almost, I reckon, fucking 70% of the bands are like extreme or in some sort of way. And then, like, you know, you only really on the main nights you get on the main stage, you'll get someone that's not, you know. But on all these little stages and even on the small stages, I don't know, man. You just get a lot of them bands that like the fucking Cookie Monster bands, don't you? Now,
Sure. For the kids.
All the kids, yeah.
Anyway, usually there's like one day in there set up for all the bands that I like, older people.
Yeah,
I know. Always spread out, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, my number 11. You've done yours, haven't you, Dom? Yeah, of course you have.
Yes.
My number 11, Queensryche. Anybody listening?
Have to be on that. Yeah.
Just a brilliant album, Empire. I mean, this is, again, a little bit progressive, I suppose you could say. Very nice quiet bits, some beautiful little quiet bits on this song. You know, some excellent lyrics. The Hoist the Sail, We'll Be Gone and all that. It's very clever. Puts you in I always love bands that when they sing lyrically, they put you in a place.
Yeah.
That you're not, you know, they take you into a place. And this is a song that does that for me as well. It's a very sort of like basic sort of, the chorus is very simple, isn't it? When it comes in with those crashing chords, but an absolutely brilliant song. I think it's the last track on the album.
It is.
Yeah, and it closes out perfectly because it's quite long. It's quite epic. Brilliant. And you could say this was not a lot of people's view because they love the next album, but this is the height of them, and then just about to slip off the edge a little bit, I think. After this,
I think we can agree with that. Yeah,
I think we can.
Yeah. I mean, Promised Land was all right, but it wasn't.
Yes, definitely had its moments, but you could just tell that it wasn't quite. Yeah. It was a bit more of a challenge, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, so anybody listening, what a classic, number 11. We're at the end of our playlist, guys. We're at track 12.
Well, already. Yeah.
Here we go.
Right, this is a brilliant album that Dom's mentioned already. Another brilliant album that I could have had any track off. It just fell in the right place, but it's from Blackout in the Red Room by Love Hate.
Excellent.
Album of the year, probably for a lot of people. It was got highly rated over here in Kerrang or whatever, which is probably the reason why most people bought it, because that's what you did in them days. What's the album of the week or the month, and you take a punt on it if you thought it sounded interesting. But yeah, they're massive over here. Just party rock, bit of funk in that. I suppose a little bit funky, a bit of a funky bass on some of the songs. Yeah. But I think there's a big publicity thing. Didn't he crucify himself, and Hollywood signed, didn't he, with on beer cans or something, Jizzy Pearl, which was quite entertaining at the time. But the song's Hell California, Population 4, which is the last track, I think. But any track I could have picked, and this is just another classic love-hate track, and definitely can't remember if I've seen him back in the day or not. I guess they must have come over. I'm not sure if I did or not, but obviously, as I say, I did have tickets to go and see them, but not sure. But anyway, brilliant album, brilliant song.
Cool.
I didn't see them until they did a full band reunion around, I just moved to LA, so would have been about maybe 98, 99. Just in a very small club, but it was great because it was all 4 members. That was the first time I saw them, and they were terrific. Yeah.
Wasn't Jizzy Pearl the singer for someone recently, wasn't it? Who was he singing for?
That?
Wasn't Jizzy Pearl the singer for someone else recently before he went back to doing this?
He was in Rat.
Rats, that's it.
He was also in LA Guns. I saw him with LA Guns as well. He was kind of the singer for hire for a while.
Yeah. Is his name meant to sound really dirty?
Yes, Diz, Pearl. Probably, yeah. You can make the connection, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, great one, mate. What you got,
Okay.
Dom, to finish your playlist off?
All right. It's probably the most obscure one. It was released on a major label, but it didn't do much of anything. Obviously, with the advent of the internet, I now see that there's other people that really like this album as well. But, for the longest time, I thought I was the only one. This is a band called Electric Angels.
Cool.
They were on Atlantic. Only one album, because by the time the second one came around, the record company dropped them, obviously, because that would have been around 92. I saw these guys support Hurricane, actually, in 1990, and was just blown away. Thought they were just great. Some of them, I mentioned Candy with Gilby Clarke in earlier. This was the other 3/4 of Candy with a new singer. So Gilby had gone on to Kill for Thrills, and the other guys had gone on to this band. This song is called The Drinking Song. There is a video for it. Chorus is, I never really loved you, I just drank too much. It's a good party song. This also has Ryan Roxy, who has gone on to be in a few bands. He currently plays with Alice Cooper. He has quite a history. He was in CC DeVille's one of CC DeVille's bands. I can't remember which one now. Dad's Porno Mag and all this kind of stuff. So he has quite a bit of history in LA. But this is the first time I ever saw him. Great album, Electric Angels.
Cool. I can't remember the band.
No, they didn't. They just didn't get any sort of push at all. As I said, they made one video, I think. Very kind of riffy, we're kind of in this, I would say kind of a Black Crowes, very early Black Crowes kind of vibe,
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, I'm going for a band that I've mentioned probably 2 or 3 times during our whole All Killer, and it's Y&T, and the song Surrender from the 10 album. So, I mean, at this point, for me, Y&T were weighing off a bit as well. I mean, their album before this I really loved. Oh no, it was Contagious before this, so the one before that. So we're 2 albums in now where they're not hitting the mark so much. But
new label as well, so
yeah, I mean there's great song. This has always been the thing about Y&T though. I think they're not consistent enough. Even on their best albums for me, they will have 5 or 6 classic songs and then there'll be a few fillers. But the fillers got a little bit more as the time went on. But this is a great song, Surrender. It's just like their old stuff. Very cool sort of groove to it. And a sort of a little bit of a gallop in the chorus. Very catchy. Very, very catchy. So that's my list, guys. Y&T round mine up. Honourable mentions.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Sure, you got a few. See, it's one of your
I've
best
got a few, yeah. Well, a few albums we've not even talked about. Okay, I got a few number ones. Toranaga, which were a British thrash band. I mean, they probably did. I don't know if Don would know them. And they did an album called God's Gift, and the song is The Shrine. Worth checking out if you like a bit of thrash.
What is it called again? Sorry.
The song's called The Shrine.
The band name.
Toranaga, Toranaga.
No,
I've got it on CD somewhere, but I couldn't dig it out.
Okay.
God's Gift. I think it's their first album. Don't think they exist anymore, but worth checking out. Suicidal Tendencies, Can't Bring Me Down from Lights, Camera, Revolution. Love this song at the time. Brilliant, yeah. Never claimed to be a huge Suicidal Tendencies fan, but that song is fantastic.
That's a track,
Great
yeah.
song. Judas Priest, Painkiller we talked about. Sacred Right, The American Way. Thrash band. Yeah, that song that's track 2 was really good. Bruce Dickinson we mentioned. John Bon Jovi, Blaze of Glory.
Yeah,
song from the soundtrack. That's good.
Then
there's a few albums. Razor's Edge, AC/DC, good album. Some good songs on it. Money Talks, Thunderstruck. Resistance to Time, Anthrax. Not as good as probably some of their albums, but some great songs on here like Blood, Keeping the Family, In My World. Black Sabbath, TYR. I don't even pronounce it. Some really good songs. Consistent album, but nothing off that. Not very good album at all, but Mother Russia.
You guys.
I know. And Tail Gunner. Not bad songs. Nobody's mentioned this. This is my track 13 I had from Porno Graffiti, Extreme 2. You guys talk about that. Pantera we talked about, didn't we? Cowboys from Hell. And then obviously anything could have gone off here, but I didn't have any room for it. Couldn't put anything off from Empire. And finally, Choir Boys, another British band. Love this album. Couldn't get anything off it.
It's 7 o'clock.
Exactly. And Mayfair's on there.
Party.
I'm sorry, I should have mentioned Wolfsbane.
Oh, yes.
Brilliant EP, great EP, but no, couldn't get anything off it. All right,
you could definitely join Paul Stanley's new projects.
Thanks so
like
much.
That, Don.
Yeah. I think he should call me.
Going into the groove there, just see him.
Oh, yeah, getting it out. Well, that's just one of the, 7 o'clock's just one of those classic going out songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely get your tipple in at home before you go out during.
Great choices there. They make some great honourable mentions there.
Yeah, really, really good. I've got a few. Well, I had a few of them, but I'm just going to mention albums that we haven't talked about yet. Poison, Flesh and Blood. Still some good tracks on there. I think in some ways it's probably their most cohesive commercial album. I think they really kind of did almost a hysteria with this one. There were multiple songs that were singles and really kind of outdid themselves with this one. Not my personal, favorite of theirs. I liked when they were a bit more raw and stuff. But anyway, what else do I have? Circus of Power is a band that I quite like. They had a few albums as well. This is their album called Vices that had some good stuff. Demals had their second album, Warped. That was great. UDO have their third album, Faceless World.
He's got a new album coming out this year, I believe. The end of the year. UDO.
Yeah, is it with that Boys in the whatever Boys from the Past?
I don't think it's one of. I'm not. No, I think it's his solo album. I don't think it's. And I don't think he's using the orchestra this fucking time either.
Okay, so just a straight up UDO album then.
I believe so. Yeah.
That's what we need. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else. King's X, Faith, Hope, and Love, which was the album that really kind of introduced me to King's X. I'd read about them a lot, but this album was great. I actually saw them support AC/DC on Razor's Edge on this one. What else? Oh, okay, I'll just mention one more. If you've ever seen Decline of Western Civilization, Part 2.
I've seen bits of it, but not all of it.
Okay, there's a band on there, London, and their singer is Nader DePriest, who has been in London forever and lots of other LA bands. Well, kind of after the success of that one, he had a new album just called DePriest, and the name of the album was Playa del Rock. And it's a really, really strong album. It didn't do anything, so they've since reissued copies, Call It London now. So I guess it's officially a London album, but when I bought it, it was the Priest album. But Playa del Rock, terrific album. Just a great mainstream rock and roll album. So that's all I'll say.
Cool.
Do you want to meet a doggy just real quick?
Oh, look. Oh.
That's Ruby. That's Ruby.
Right.
She's one of my new roommates, yeah.
Oh, man. You love doggies, don't you?
I do. She's a nice one.
Oh, so cute.
Go ahead.
No, cool. Always bring dogs. Always bring dogs. Okay, well, I'll just mention albums. I've got Facelift, obviously, Alice in Chains. For me, it didn't really know where it was going, this album. It was sort of like, it was going into the direction what they was going to, but there was other things that were sort of rock and roll, funky even sometimes. And I was like, it's good. There's like half of this album is fantastic and really fits as they sounded. The other half, not so much, but some great tracks. The Sabbath album, I'll have to mention that as well because fucking Mark had a go about us not mentioning.
It's a great album. It's a good album. I just couldn't fit anything off it.
Headless Cross, wasn't it, when we mentioned? But yeah, TYR, I think it's probably one of the better albums with Tony Martin for sure.
He's about the back, I think, on that one as well.
Yeah. John Bon Jovi, you mentioned him already. There's a few. You know what? I looked on this album. I thought Dry County was a John Bon Jovi song. Was it an actual Bon Jovi song?
Yeah, it's on
Keep the Faith.
Keep the Faith, yes, on Keep the Faith. Because
for some reason I thought that was a soundtrack song off of that, and I was looking at the track listing, thinking I like that song. But then it wasn't.
Where the fuck is Dry County?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why. It's probably the name, the song in it. It sounds like a cowboy.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
Dio, Lock Up the Wolves. I don't know, bit of a letdown for me. So Extreme Porno Graffiti, however you pronounce it. I loved the album at the time. I went off it a little bit, this album, quite quick. I loved it at the time, and I think it was really clever. And this was literally an album that I played constantly, and then it just died for some reason.
Okay.
Don't know why, but I appreciate how good it is.
Oh.
Holy Soldier, Christian metal band, very much in the Striper vein. Came a bit late for them. This is a debut album, 1990. Fucking coming in sounding like Striper wasn't the best thing to do, and sounding like the To Hell with the Devil type Striper. It's a bit late for all that. Yeah, that had been and gone. I had Megadeth as well. This is my favourite Megadeth album, Rust in Peace. And if the song I would have chosen Holy Wars off of this, if I could. I'd sort of Stick It To You. Another album that I played constantly, but maybe too much. Don't know. It just came.
Really? Oh, yeah. Cool.
But good, very good. Thunder. I had that. And I've got to give a shout out to another Christian band because Jonathan Johnson's in them. Sacred Warrior. So Wicked Generation was out. It's probably that's the one I think where Jonathan joined, and it was their most successful album. And it's like the singer sounds like Jeff Tate, and it's like an Iron Maiden stroke Jeff Tate type band. So if you want to go near Jonathan playing guitar,
cool.
Sacred Warrior, Wicked Generation.
Wicked Generation, Wicked Sensation. Wow, everything was wicked in 1990.
It was. It definitely was. I mean, it was a really bad album cover as far as I could tell. I think it had the singer on it. It's just his face. That was it. It just looks like a solo.
His big old face.
It looks like a solo album. It just looks like a solo album. But that singer, Ray Parra, he's with them now, and he sings completely different. I think he might have been trying to sound like Jeff Tate back then.
Right. And
now he hasn't really got any of that in his voice anymore. He just sings, just good singer, but don't sing like Jeff Tate anymore.
Yeah.
Perhaps they just tried to get that out of him because it's not that sort of, the music doesn't, he's in now with Jonathan, Deny the Fallen isn't anything like that. You probably like a bit of that actually, James. It's really heavy stuff.
Okay.
Well, they use a little bit of that. Jonathan actually does the growling, but it's very backing vocalist right in the back occasionally. It's for effect more than the main vocal, if you know what I mean. So there you go. That is my honourable mentions. That's it, guys. 1990's done.
Done.
So we're going to really start getting grungy soon.
Yes.
Well, maybe some of you will.
Don won't. But so I mean, yeah, I really got, just before we go, I really got into the grunge scene, but quickly, I know we don't what we call it the grunge scene, but those bands that were around at that time, I left a lot of them behind and don't listen to them no more. But I probably will have to revisit and include some of them because of my lack of bands, probably in the 90s. I don't know what happened to me. I just disappeared for a few years, I think. There you go.
Well, those were the miserable bastard years, weren't they?
They was a bit, and then I'd say,
and then it even got worse later on.
Yeah, I'm a right miserable bastard now, but yeah, it did get
no,
a bit worse.
I mean, no, but, I mean before.
Yes, yeah, you're all right. I'm only joking, but like I said, I think the last 15 years, probably at least, are going to be easy. They're just going to be just ridiculously good, or bad if too much, if you like. Anyway, look, thanks for joining me as usual, guys. It's been excellent. And obviously, we're going to see a date. We have 1991 next.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Always a good chat, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
See you later, boys.